Dr. Bob segment tonight, U.S. troops fighting in Syria, Iraq, and Yemen right now. You may remember that Navy SEAL Ryan Owens was killed in a raid in Yemen, and that was on January 28th. 6 other U.S. service members were wounded in that ordeal. So what exactly is going on? Joining us in Boston, Colonel David Hunt, Fox News military analyst, author of the brand new novel, Without Mercy. Let's take the Yemen raid first. What happened there?
As you said, late January, members of SEAL Team 6 had trained up for about 3 months, hit a compound in the southern province of Yemen, Baida province, with about 30 guys. When they went towards the compound, there was a village outside which had a lot more terrorists and people with guns than they predicted, than the intelligence read. The SEALs were under very serious firefight from an uphill advantage. Bad guys were uphill. Had to call in attack helicopters and jets into that area, which is where civilians, about 12, 14 civilians were killed. We lost a great guy you've already talked about, Owens, member of SEAL Team 6, and we lost a $78 million helicopter. So it was
what were they trying to achieve in raiding the compound?
An intelligence gathering operation, period.
What does that mean?
That means they want to get as much information from that compound, whether it's paper or hard drives, computers, or if they capture anybody. So it's an intelligence gathering.
Did they get intel, as the president said?
Yeah, the military classifies this as mission complete. They don't use the term success. They got hard drives and intel.
All right, so they did get it, but they paid a price. Okay, now in Iraq, we have how many U.S. soldiers, combat soldiers, on the ground right now? Do you know?
3 years ago, Bill, we had 250. About 45 days ago, we had about 6,000, and now we've got about 10,000. And we've got more going into Kuwait. We crossed into Syria late Monday night with Rangers in these Striker vehicles, which is basically a tank with a small tank with big rubber tires. And then 2 days later, we put Marines and artillery units in, going towards Raqqa, which is, as you know, the
ISIS capital. All right, so let me stop you. 10,000 combat troops. That's a lot of combat troops, all right, are in either Iraq or Syria right now. So they're going through Iraq. Some of them are helping out with the Mosul fight. ISIS is trapped in Mosul, and the Iraqis are fighting. But we have a good amount of Americans in that fight, right?
There's over 5,000 Americans in the fight in Mosul. That's the toughest fighting in the world, not just Mosul, but anytime you fight combat in the city. It's very, very tough, and we've got about a half to 3/4 of Mosul taken. We still got 2 weeks or a month for that fight to finish, and then we're heading up into, as you said, right now, into Syria.
Let's stay in Mosul now. Are the U.S. forces there? Are they actually on the front lines with the Iraqis fighting ISIS? Are they in harm's way, or are they support?
No, there is no front line, as you know, hasn't been for 16 years. The answer is directly, U.S. soldiers have been for months in direct combat in Iraq. That's been going on for a couple of years. We were there initially to train, and it developed into a lot more.
Okay,
so now we're in the middle of the
fighting
city.
alongside the Iraqi army because we haven't heard of many casualties in the Mosul, U.S. casualties anyway, so we've been lucky so far. So then the other 5,000 have moved through Iraq up into Syria to the fight in Raqqa, which really hasn't started yet. And I understand that Kurdish forces and Turkish forces are going to be allied with Americans in that fight. Is that what you're hearing?
Yes, but we've actually crossed the border into Syria.
Yeah, we're in there now. Right.
And the issue, one of the missions is to separate the forces you just described. Kurdish and the Turks have actually 2 separate forces, militia and their own active military. And then we're also using this to call in the airstrikes and develop that battlefield. The remaining of that, we're going to have more forces into Kuwait. This battle, what's happened is we've invaded Syria. I'm not sure anybody noticed. And by the way, we will kill everybody, all of ISIS. My issue is going to be, what do you want to do with Syria and a failed state like Iraq afterwards?
Right. But that's a lot of combat, and I think you're absolutely right. Americans don't know. All right, now your new book, Without Mercy, is a novel, and I just started it, and it's ISIS gets an atomic weapon with the help of the Pakistanis. All right? So you're going to scare the hell out of everybody, Colonel, is what you're going to do. Is that correct?
Yes, and This book, which you can get on withoutmercy.org, by the way, ISIS blows a bomb, a nuke up in Bagram Air Base. But before they've done that, they've already sent 2 towards the west in tankers, and 1 gets into lower Manhattan. And then we have a president, brand new, a Silver Star winner, who happens to be a woman, who has to figure out recovery and chasing bad guys and cut through a new bureaucracy, which is not built to act fast. So this is the best book of its kind out there. We're very, very proud. I wrote with a guy named R.J. Pinero.
All right, the book again, Without Mercy, and .org, and check it all out. Colonel, always a pleasure. Thank you.